This show is about your mental health. While it's supported by the pillars of positivity and hope, if you find yourself in crisis, please reach out for help. In many communities in both the United States and Canada, you can dial 211 to be connected to mental health and crisis services in your region. While it may seem like it at times, you are not alone. Wow. Look at that. Sun is still out and shining. Beautiful sunset in southern Ontario this evening. Moved our clocks ahead. At least I hope you didn't. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having... It's better when the clocks move forward, I find. It's easier to take. Sometimes I just find when the clocks go back, the day just drags on and on and on and on. All right. My camera okay? I got to learn not to be ready too early. There's a huge... The reason we were a little late this evening is Parker's still adjusting my camera. I screwed everything up this week because I had to move some of the camera stuff. What are you doing? Checking for zits? Okay. I was ready about like 6 hours ago. And then just literally 2 minutes before air, we realized we had a technical problem and we had to get it fixed. So from now on, no more getting ready early. No more getting ready early. I am a fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. And that's what I'm going to do. Before we move on with the whole show, I just wanted to let you know that next week, this show will not be seen. I'm being preempted. Actually, it's for a good reason. I usually, about this time of year, start getting ready to do the Easter Seals telethon. This is the second year in a row that there's no telethon. So I wanted to do a bit of a special for the good people at Easter Seals Ontario. So this time next week, 7 o'clock, right here on this Facebook channel, right here on this Facebook channel, we are going to be having a special called 99 Reasons, 99 Ways. It's all in support of Easter Seals. I'll be joined by Josie Dye from Indie 88 as my co-host. This is where we run the promo. There we go. See, Parker was ready early too. So Easter Seals will be, it is Easter Seals month in March. They do an incredible job, but they've had a really tough time this year because of telethon having to be canceled again. All these major events have either had to be canceled or go virtual, and that includes a summer camp, which they had to make the tough decision to cancel. So that is next Sunday, right here at this very Facebook page, Easter Seals, and I hope you will all join us. Maybe we'll do some breathing with Spunky as well. So we should probably do that right now, shall we? Let's bring in Spunky. Hey, Spunk. You all set to go? Okay, don't forget, we're going to breathe in through our nose for 4 seconds. Here we go. Breathing in, and we're going to hold it for 4. But don't strain. Just hold it gently. Then you're going to breathe it out slowly through your mouth. And then hold it. Hold it. Now you're going to breathe it through your nose, that clean air, that you're going to realize how clean it is. And then as you're holding it, you're thinking of where the stress is in your body and the anxiety. And you're going to grab it. And now you're going to breathe out. All right, now hold it. Let's do that again. You're going to breathe in through your nose. Hold it. Feel the anxiety. Where is it? Grab some of it and breathe it out through your mouth. All right. Thank you, Spunky. We'll see you next week. I think maybe I'm going to do a bit of an updo on Spunky. I'm going to redo that. Maybe it's time. So season 2, by the way, launched this week on the podcast. Thank you very much for everybody for listening to the podcast and making it so successful. So we're into season 2. I am going to start a little segment tonight because I'm always talking about being your own mental health advocate. you have to own it. You have to take it. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. You have to be the one who knows when you need help, look for help, and don't stop until you get that help. You have to be your own mental health advocate. You have to own it. And right now we're going to talk about your work life and your mental health, which are coming into conflict in a lot of cases for a lot of people. So here's the start of a new segment. Owning your mental health, especially when working from home, more and more studies are showing that people, not only because they're working from home, but just away from colleagues and away from the office, are really taking a toll on their mental health. Couple that with family and trying to be there for the family, but concentrate on your work can make it quite difficult. So I put out a survey this week, and thank you very much to all of you for answering it and taking the time to do that, because I wanted to find out how working at home is affecting your mental health. So we're going to go through it right now. Just going to start very briefly. Someone was asking me, by the way, in the survey, I ask certain questions. And I'm wondering, why are you asking what my income level is? It's because I'm looking for a new place to live, and I'm hoping you'll be my friend. So I'm looking for people who are making, $500,000 and up. No. The reason for that is it used its weight against the other questions and the answers. So are we finding that people in a higher income bracket maybe have more access to services, or maybe I don't know. So that's why. It's not to be nosy, and I don't even look at the individual surveys. I only look at the compilation of all the results. So I'm not spying on you, and I am not selling your information either. I promise you that. I am only using your email address for good, not for evil. Actually, I'm not even using it unless you've subscribed to my website and to my podcast, which you can do. I don't use those email addresses unless I ask you first of all. Okay, so let's first of all talk about employment levels, and what I mean by that is, are you full-time, part-time, or contract? Vast majority, 84% full-time, 11% part-time, contract 5%. A lot of contract people worked from home as it was. So I don't know, maybe that wasn't a great question. A lot of part-time people, only go in the office a little bit. But yeah, of the people who answered, 84%. Now, this is where it gets interesting here. And that is, how many hours do you spend working, if you're working from home, compared to being in an office? Now, about a third say same as the office. 10% say less. It's a little bit more and a lot more. And that adds up to about 50%, more than 50%. So more than half are working from home. Now 30, 40, yeah, that's right. That adds up. Okay, I was just checking. It has to come close to 100. It's not exactly 100. But it's not great that we have that many people. And I know myself that that's the same situation, is I'm going to do more here because it's easy. It's accessible. I'm in my living room and the desk is just over there, and I'll go answer that email. And I'm going to finish this project because I don't have to go at 5:00. Or are you bringing, Parker is bringing in, where is it? Can you see that? That's the Bud Light for when the Leafs score. Back over there. So there we go. We will know when the Leafs score. Who are they playing tonight? The Senators. Okay. All right. So going back to the survey. So the hours you work, it's so much easier, and unfortunately, that really tends to add up. And before you know it, you're working on the weekends, you're working nights, you're working before 9 a.m., if that was when you usually start. Next question. Mental health impact. So what is the mental health impact? If you're working from home, has it been seriously hurt, somewhat hurt, not hurt, or actually improved? Now, there are It's a significant number of 15% of people. Oh, wait, what's that? Contract is spelled wrong. Charity said contract was spelled wrong. That was in number one. That was in contract. Contract. All right. Anyway, all right. Back we go. So the mental health impact, people feel that has been seriously hurt. 15%. That's a significant number. That is. And sometimes it can really make you feel isolated and lonely. And there was one report I had read that said that there were a significant number of people in the survey that this had been done saying that they're ready to completely drop out of the workforce because they just can't handle this. Now, still, more than half of you say you're somewhat hurt. Your mental health is somewhat hurt. Whereas there is some people, and we're going to talk about this more as well in a little bit, see an improvement in their mental health. They like working from home. And I think we're going to see a lot more people still working from home when this is all over. It's a good cost saving for employers. And I think it improves productivity as well. Next one. I'm going to go through these relatively quickly. I thought it would be higher than 15%, said Melanie. It's still that, Melanie, that's still a pretty significant amount, 15%. And add that to the somewhat hurt. And you're talking about a lot of people who have had their working from home significantly impact their mental health for the worse. So it is a fairly significant number. That number probably will change as well as this draws on longer and longer and longer. Next one. Let me see. If your mental health is hurt, why? So the majority of people on the right-hand side there, there's no separation between work and home. And that was tied with loneliness and missing coworkers. Now, these don't add up to 100% because these were you could check as many answers as you wanted to. What was really hurting you? So most people, more than half, were saying it's the loneliness, the isolation, and the no separation work from home. That's important. That's really important. You know, when you go to work, there is, I mean, it's an obvious separation. It's an obvious time. And the commute is included in that. So sometimes it's kind of hard to shift out of work mode and into family mode. And there have been reports that people's sex drive has significantly decreased with people working from home. Significantly. So let's go on to the next one. How has it affected you? Most people have poor sleep. So maybe it's time I had my friend Alana back on from the Good Night Sleep site. She is a sleep expert. I think it's about time I had her back on. I'd like to know how you're sleeping. So let me know what you'd like me to ask Alana. But yeah, maybe next week, or no, not next week. It's going to be the Easter Seal show, but the week after, maybe we'll have Alana back on because that's significant. That many of those who responded saying 70% say a poor sleep. Aches, pains, and signs of depression. I bunched them all together, and about half, same with about half, for a short temper, and then crying or feel like crying, 46%. And the other one was anxiety, loss of libido, and loss of appetite. They came in just a little bit below 45%. So it affects people differently. Your anxiety, your stresses affect you differently than someone else. So for me, I feel it in my stomach, and I sometimes feel it like a dizzy feeling almost. Not fully dizzy, but just that kind of being out of place. Does that make sense? That kind of, I can't even, what's the word I'm looking for? Detachment, maybe, from reality. Disassociation. Let's talk about self-prescribing now. So what are you doing that you probably wouldn't have done before when you were working at home and in isolation? Now, this adds up, of course, with isolation and working at home. Eating too much. Number one answer. And that is for people working from home. That's just for people on lockdown from home. Not only eating too much, but eating too much crap. A little bit more drinking. Sleeping too much, which can be as bad as not getting enough sleep or having a bad sleep. Sleeping too much is quite often a sign of depression. Keep that in mind. Using marijuana more often. Now, either that means people use it a lot anyway, or, I have a completely different audience. So only about 4%. Other people are saying using unprescribed medication. And we're seeing a serious problem with unprescribed medication as well. Any of these things that if they're affecting you, that's when you really need to reach out for help. We're going to talk as well a little bit about when to reach out for help, because I had an interesting response to a couple of the questions because of that. Okay, what's the next one? Okay, how much do you feel your employer cares about your mental health? Only about a quarter saying I don't think they care very much at all, or a little, 36%. But it's nice to see quite a bit, and above and beyond, almost about 40% between those two. So that's good. And if you are an employer, I urge you, check in often with those who work for you. Check in often. And tell them you're checking in. Just, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, I know it's tough. Anything we can do. And familiarize yourself. If you're with a larger company, familiarize yourself, of course, with your policies regarding mental health care and treatment. If not, there's a lot of information available, even for small companies. So employers really, you're going to be called on to really help the people who work for you. And, it's going to mean maybe associating with people that if they were in the office, you probably would have nothing to do with. But right now you have more of a responsibility, not just to your company, but to those who work for you. Keep in mind, mental health is not going to be perfect. If someone's saying, yeah, you know what, I'm off. Okay, that's completely understandable. But when it gets to the point where you're losing sleep, when your appetite is significantly changed, when you start losing your temper, that's what happens. Kelly, not only check in, but listen about what's being said. Listen carefully. What's that? Listen. Oh, yes, that's right. Especially what isn't being said. So, yes. Listen for any signs of depression. Listen for signs, even of self-harm. And make yourselves available to your employees. They need to feel, and you're going to see in a moment here that some of them don't feel all that comfortable talking to their employer, and they should feel comfortable. I'll leave that for a moment. Let's go into the employer reaction here. Have you discussed your mental health with your employer? A lot of people just said, no, it's my business. Okay. I hope at least you are reaching out to someone or talking with someone about your mental health, even if it's okay. Always have to keep checking it. Yes, an employer has offered guidance, 19%, 15%. No, because I'm embarrassed. There's that stigma. I'm embarrassed. If you are feeling off, if you are feeling your mental health has been impacted, you are anything but alone. You are in great company. And if you told that to your employer, they would not be surprised. Guarantee you. Can we go back to that one, Parker? The one that I worry about the most, though, is I fear I'll lose my job, 17%. You cannot lose your job or be fired because you report a mental health issue or you have a mental health issue. And don't let an employer bully you into thinking that either. Your mental health is as important as your physical health. So if you had a bad heart and had to go in for surgery or something, you would tell your employer would give you time off. It is the same if you are dealing with depression. And let's start making that very clear. This is not optional anymore. mental health issues are the same as having physical health issues. In fact, they are physical health issues. So if you fear for your job or your employer has told you to suck it up, then if you work for a larger company, it's time to go over their head. If you work for a small company, then you're going to have to find the best place to report that. You have rights, and your mental health is important. So what are you going to do? Are you going to give up your mental health to help your company? No, you're not going to do that. So please make sure you do talk to them. Lisa, your employer fired you. Kev, harsh reality. No, my employer didn't fire me, and it had nothing to do with my mental health. I think it was more a clash of personalities between me and a certain vice president. That was it. That was all. But I can tell you one thing about City TV and Rogers. Okay, I can tell you one thing. I never ever had a problem with them and my mental health. They were 100% supportive all the time. Incredibly supportive. And employers, if you are not, then get with it and start taking some classes on mental health and start supporting your employees' mental and physical health. If you want to be selfish about it, because you'll get better productivity out of them. But really, when it comes right down to it, they're human beings. You're a human being. They're a human being. Treat them like that. Next one. Are you seeking mental health treatment from a professional source? Only 20% said yes. 80% said no. Now that is interesting. I want to unpack that one a little bit because I went into the comments and a lot of you explained it. One reason why I have not sought mental health help: I don't have time. Screaming into my dryer is my therapy for now. Stuck working from home, 24/7, caregiving, no time to look after my needs. Work was my respite from the horrible world of dementia. I know we have quite a few home caregivers, family caregivers, and we are seeing an increase in the population of those who are living with dementia and Alzheimer's. So yeah, that is definitely a full-time job. There is also someone saying that, where is it? I prefer working, sorry. Someone was saying they didn't, oh, here it is. I haven't told my employer because I don't want to add to their stress. We are a very small nonprofit, so there's nothing my employer can do to assist at this point. So I don't want to burden them. I just do what I do to keep our doors open. Okay, that's nice. That's good for you. I don't think your employer expects that at all, and you would not be burdening them. You might be surprised. There are different programs that are available, but if nothing else, at least you've talked to your employer and you've let them know that something's going on. So please don't let I know you don't want to be a bother, but this isn't being a bother. This is you owning it. This is you being your own mental health advocate. By you remaining quiet about it, it's not going to do anything for you. It's going to hurt you even more. So discuss it with them. You're not telling them you want to quit. You're not telling them that if they don't pay up right now for some help, that you're going to take them to court. No. But at least let them know. At least let them know. They might just say, take a couple of days off, or be sure that you work only the hours you have to work. And I hope every employer out there is trying to ensure that their employees don't work any longer hours than if they were at the office. You shouldn't expect them to be answering emails. And this goes even when there's no lockdown. You shouldn't be expecting them to answer emails after hours unless you're paying them for that. So there needs to be a definite separation between work and family. And if there isn't, you have an employee who is not giving you their best. You can't. You need your family time. You need that time to refresh and to release. So that's why that separation needs to be there. Very difficult when your office is right there, when your desk is right there, and the TV is right there, and the kitchen is right there. It's easy to fall into that. I'm just going to do a little bit of work. Okay. If you have not looked for help, why not? I can't afford it. Okay, that is most definitely can be a stumbling block if you're talking about psychiatrists and psychotherapists. Yeah, you're talking $200 an hour, right? There are other programs available. There are grants available. Health insurance covers a lot more maybe than you know. Even your provincial health insurance probably covers more than you know. But failing a psychiatrist, at least reach out for help. And a great place to start is the Canadian Mental Health Association. So the website for CMHA. So Google CMHA and the Canadian Mental Health Association. In fact, they have a quiz that you can take about your work and home life. Parker, can we dig that up? It's down in notes underneath. No, yeah, down. Oh, you got it. Oh, that. You had it. Okay. So Parker's going to put. There you go. It just went up on the message board there, as you can see. Work-life balance quiz, and that's at cmha.ca/work-life-balance-quiz. So cmha.ca, work-life balance quiz. You can link to that right now if you want. The other thing you can do by going to cmha.ca is you can also get other information about what to do if you can't afford help. There's tons of information on their site. CAMH has a great site as well. So reaching out, looking. Don't just sit and say, I don't have any money, therefore I can't take care of my mental health. You can, but you got to work harder at it. But you're worth it. And you're owning it, right? Right there, what it says. You're owning this. You are being your mental health advocate. We got more, Parker? Oh, yeah, this is interesting. What positive impact has working from home had on you? Wow. You don't like commuting, do you? You do not like the commute. 97% of those. And again, these are, you can pick as many as you want. So these do not add up to 100. 97% of you do not like the commute. The alternative work hours, 46% saying, yeah, it's kind of nice to make your own hours. And yes, I can see that. And employers hopefully will see that and see more productivity. There actually can be, if you work it right, more family time. And I'm glad to see that. Better productivity. That's it right there. You can either work happier and get more done in a short time with a better product, or you can be bored, unhappy, dissatisfied, working slower than usual, and have less productivity. And there was one other there that said the sleep. I think it was 21% said you're getting a better sleep, and that's good. That's really important. So now, what are we going to do about it? There was one other question here that someone says, where is it? Someone had said it's hard to determine if the isolation of working from home is causing the feelings or if it's the isolation caused by the general lockdown. I'm almost going to say it's a bit of both. A lot of one, more of one maybe, but it's a bit of both. And that's hitting you, bam, bam, a 1-2 punch with that. There was one here. I don't want to paraphrase it. I'd rather read it. I can't find it here. Essentially, what they were saying is they don't know if their problem is serious enough. That is such a very good observation. Do you want to bother someone? Do you want to go for a digital online therapy that maybe someone else needs and you'd be taking their place? Are people just going to say, oh, come on, you don't have any mental health problems? Well, again, I'm going to be talking about this with an expert in the weeks to come about when you need to go for help. But essentially, if you are constantly suffering from anxiety and feelings of depression, if you are self-medicating and drinking a lot more, using drugs a lot more, using unprescribed medication more. If it is impacting your sleep and your ability simply to carry on a normal life, that's when you need to seek some help. That's when you need to reach out. You need to own it. You need to be the first person who takes care of yourself. Hey, you're probably surrounded by wonderful people. I think that's great. But they're worried about their own lives as well. You're the only one who is with you 24/7, 365. You're the only one. So you reach out for that mental health. You are worth it. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to shell out all that money for a psychiatrist. The digital online therapy is great. Oh. Leaf score. Thank you so much for putting that there, Parker. What was I saying? There are so many different kinds of things you can do. So to begin with, start being your own advocate simply by being nicer to yourself, being better to yourself, being kinder to yourself, going for walks, exercising, eating better. That's how you can start. But we are going to talk about that in the next few weeks because it's a really interesting question. And I sometimes ask it of myself. Is this serious enough to bother a professional about? So it can be tough. But if it's having a serious impact, if it's having an impact on your life, then yes, you need to reach out. And don't take no for an answer. Be your own mental health advocate. So I want to get from you now. Now we are going to turn this on you, and we are going to get some tips on working from home. And in fact, I'm going to call on Parker here to help me out. And you're going to type in what people are saying on the message board. So I'm not bringing it. See, I even put that little sign there for you. See, you can't miss that. So let's start filling up the message board here, our chat board. What do you do to help yourself and your mental health if you're working from home? So what do you do? Is there something you do? Take breaks at a certain time? Do you have a to-do list that you stick with? Do you have rules set for yourself? So let's share and pass on to people some ideas. So, for instance, at many workplaces have a whistle, mostly in manufacturing. You can make yourself your own whistle. You can make yourself, at 5 o'clock it goes off, and that's it. And you put everything down immediately. So to be disciplined. Okay, so we just had one saying, take time to talk to coworkers. That's a great idea. One thing a lot of people miss is from working with their colleagues, collaborating. But just what? Getting the social news, things like that. So yes, take time to talk to coworkers, take breaks, and be religious about those breaks. You cannot just say, okay, I'm going to take 3 breaks today. And then you work through them and you don't take them, or you take shorter ones. No, your breaks, your lunch, your quitting time, your starting time, those need to be in stone if your mental health is being impacted. If you're enjoying it though, like I do a job that I love doing and I work all sorts of hours. I love it. So I'm not saying that you won't be impacted with mental health. However, if you're enjoying it, it's not as serious right now, but don't let it get serious. So take those breaks. Try to have a separate space. Yes, you need a separate space, and you need as well to make sure the family understands. Now, it's tougher to get younger kids to understand sometimes, but yes, you need a separation because you can be tempted as well, right? Oh, you know what? I'm going to go play PS3. Are we at PS3 or PS4 now? What are we at? PS5? What? 5? Wow, completely missed 4. I'm going to go play PS5 right now because, no, you've got to be disciplined, and that is a really, really hard thing to do. Drinking lots of water, power walking at lunch, Stretch and stretch especially. Okay, there's another thing. I'm getting all these ideas for shows coming up. We're going to talk about the minimal amount of stretching that you need to do and exercise. I know we're not going to go to the gym and work 30 minutes a day. Crank the music and dance. I cannot work with music. I can't. But a lot of people can, and they've had to do without it at work because their colleagues and coworkers don't want it that loud. So yeah, if music makes you move and you work with it, yeah. Virtual meetups with friends. Yeah, Friday night, afterwards, belly up to the bar, your kitchen table. What else have we got? This is great. Thank you, everybody, for this. I think also there's one thing, too, that meditate. Perfect. There's one thing, too, that not a lot of people are saying it, and that is, Parker, the camera one there, I want to talk about that in just a moment. What was I saying? The thing is that I get myself so distracted. Something people aren't saying. Gratitude. We talk about that on this show, don't we? Being thankful for things. And you have a perfect chance when you're at work to have a sheet of paper beside you. And what are you thankful for? This is more important than you know, because what it does is it puts you in a frame of mind of being thankful, of looking for the positive. And if you look for the positive, you don't know what that will do to your mental health. It will improve it significantly. So looking for the positive. And so write it down on a sheet of paper. Have one right here. And then, you know what? Scribble down what you're thankful for. And then at the end of the day, or at the end of the week, the end of the month, keep that. And any time when you're having a bad day, you sort of look at it and say, oh, you know what? It was, I really am very thankful that the Leafs scored, or something like that. The one I wanted to talk about was the one that was a disconnect at the end of the day for at least an hour. Great idea. Who was that? That was Cameron. Such a great idea. And we have trouble, don't we? We have trouble sometimes sitting back doing nothing. We feel guilty. We should be doing something. We've worked all day. Now we better get the supper ready, or we better clean this up, or we better fix that thing that's broken in the house. No, that is such a great idea. At least an hour at the end of the day, you go to the couch, play on your phone, watch a show, read a book, do something for yourself, and don't feel guilty about it. That's a really good one. I find, too, now in the morning, I'm relaxing more in the morning. I never realized what a rush we put ourselves into in the morning. I honestly, I love getting up, just enjoying my coffee, catching up with the news, just taking it easy. Before this, you'd be rushing out the door because you had to get into traffic and you knew that was coming your way. What else have we got? What do you got there? I can't see what Jenny knew was. Virtual music, crank the music, and dance. Lots of water. Let me see. Okay, can you put Diane's on? We'll show that one too. Okay, this is good. And after I just said, I catch up on the news, but stop watching the news. That is such a good thing. All day long, you are probably going to be more tempted to be tuning in. No, tune out. Do not keep watching the news. The best time to see news is in the morning, a couple of minutes. That's all you need. And then maybe a bit later in the day. That's it. Only a few minutes. Like I said before, I'll tell you if the world comes to an end. We watch too much news. And the majority of the news is bad. Remember what we talked about before, when you're thankful for something and you have that positive attitude, it really lifts your mental health. It really lifts your spirits. You're thinking positively. But if you are watching the news and hearing all the death and destruction and a lot of things that don't even have an impact on your life, well, that's going to do exactly the opposite. So that's very good. Diane says, I stopped watching the news. That's great. I stop listening to the news. Stop. Turn the radio off. It's okay, I think, to get the bulletins on your phone, but just get the breaking ones. And can I just say something to the news operations out there? Will you stop putting every single little thing that happens as breaking news? Breaking news is not a car accident. Breaking news is the 401 shutting down. That's breaking news. I see breaking news and a developing story and this and that. Probably a good 30-40% of the breaking news we see isn't. It isn't. So just keep that in mind when you're getting your breaking news. Let me see. Listen to that little voice tells you help me. Okay. Teresa, listen to your little voice that tells you that you need help. I talked to somebody. Your little voice knows all. Your little voice is real and it knows all. That gut instinct, that spidey sense, that feeling, that little voice, that's you taking care of you, and it knows all. So if something's off, there are many times you can be entering into a depression or a stressful time, and you just feel it, but you don't know why. I encourage you, when that happens, if you feel, I just feel like something's wrong right now, that is a perfect time for you to stop and ask your little voice, why am I feeling this way? You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Why am I feeling this way? Well, I started feeling this way this morning, and it was after I watched the news, and it was something about the vaccine, and you trace it back. When you can take something that's making you feel depressed, and it's not just in the back of your mind, you bring it forefront, you look at it, you label it, you name it, you figure out where it came from and why it is. By the time you've done all that, this has shrunk in size. If anything, I hope it just goes away. Remember, 85% of everything we think about all day is negative, and most of that won't happen. So if you're feeling off, if your little voice says, yeah, I'm feeling off, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Just say to yourself, okay, stop, do your breathing. I think I'm going to incorporate a few more breathing exercises in the weeks to come as well. I think we can graduate beyond box breathing, give you something else to do as well. But breathe and examine, identify, and label it. Not only are you maybe looking at it saying, oh, maybe that's not such a big deal, but you know what you're doing? And it's something we talk about in mental health a lot, is you are taking control. You have stopped, so you're taking control. You're not rushing along and your breath and heart is beating away on its own. No, you have stopped. You're engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, and you're saying, I am taking control. Hey, maybe this is something that is really bad, but I am taking control. I am the one who's going to control my moods, not the other way around. So taking control, listen to that little voice. Listen to that little voice. It's usually the one that's dressed in like the white gown with the wings. I only listen to the one in red and the little horns, like sometimes. But listen to the voice. Listen to your voice. Let me see. My little voice told me to take time off work because my vertigo was really bothering me. I knew enough to slow down and listen to my body. Yes! Applause, Parker. Air horn for that. Yeah, there's somebody who realized, wait a minute, okay, I need to stop. You're not going to be any good for anyone if you collapse. And so your little voice told you something, you listened, you'll be better off for it. Anne says, I have a routine in the morning, get dressed, even if track minutes. Yes, get dressed, make your bed. Get dressed, make your bed. Great. Things you can do. Take that shower as you normally would. Okay, what else do we have? Gotta fly too, Kevin. Lisa has to go. Bye, Lisa. Take care. And we'll just do a couple more, and then we'll call it a night. What's it? Oh, it's dark out there now. I guess that's going to be it. That is going to be it. Okay, do not forget about next week. The Easter Seals special, right here at this time on this Facebook page, next Sunday, 7 p.m. I hope you can join us. We will be here live. I'll be joined by Josie Dye from Indie 88. And we have some incredible stories. And just a reminder, if you got those Easter seals in the mail, please use them and please donate as well. Easter Seals does some great work, but they've had a real tough time with COVID and lockdown because a lot of their events have either been canceled or scaled down significantly. Easter Seals Kids having an incredibly tough time too because a lot of the physiotherapy has been canceled. Having to learn from home is tough for a lot of Easter Seals kids. So we'll be talking all about that next week. My blog, if you want to go to thehappymolecule.com /blog or /podcast, you can get to the podcast or to the blog. Please subscribe on my website, thehappymolecule.com, and you will get a newsletter every time something happens, such as a new podcast, a new blog, or our information. I do a once-a-month newsletter as well. This week's podcast on Tuesday is a lovely lady. Her name is Millie Day, and she is from the UK. And she was an addict, or she is an addict. You once an addict, you will always be an addict. We know that. But she beat it, and now she's helping other people beat it. She is a firecracker. I loved talking to her. So she has some advice if you find yourself getting addicted to things. And we're not just talking about alcohol or drugs. There are many things you can get addicted to. You can get addicted to your phone. So we're going to talk about that and about how you can help yourself. So that's coming up. It'll be available Tuesday morning. And then next Tuesday's podcast, I'm talking to Dan Rubenstein. He is a writer at Carleton University, but he's also written a book about the importance of walking for your mental health and what it does for your mental health. There's a lot more that you get out of walking than just getting from point A to point B. So that's all in the next couple of weeks. So I certainly hope that we will see you right here next week, next Sunday, 7 p.m. for the Easter Seals special. Until then, thanks for joining me and Parker. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.